I'm going to take you through a basic HTML document structure. Okay, that is to say, we are going to put down a structure that will enable our HTML work effectively. So, building a website, you don't just start building just from nowhere, just the way we did it in the last session. We just add an element, display it as we just put an element right at the top here of the page. No, that's a wrong practice. There must be a laid down structure on how the HTML document is going to be displayed. Okay, because when working with an HTML, then when building a website, sorry to say, you are not just using the HTML document, you are not using the HTML element, you are not just depending on the HTML. There are still external things, external files, so many other things you are going to be bringing into this HTML document to spicing the whole thing and make it the very type of website that you desire. First thing first, we are going to create a doc type. Okay, that's the first thing that we are going to do when putting down the structure of the HTML. The first thing you should do is to write down the doc type HTML. Now, why do we have this as the very first thing that we should do? Why do we have this as the first syntax that we have here? All right, so this is the answer here. Is that the doc type is a declaration to the web browser to interpret and display the document as HTML5 web page. Okay, that is a declaration to the web browser to interpret and display the document as an HTML5. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm telling you that there are versions. So we have so many versions of HTML. Now, when we have this on our documents, we are telling the browser that I am working with HTML version 5. That's it. All right, so the next thing we are going to do here, just come underneath, we're going to open an HTML element. You see, we have this, the opening, and then we have the closing. And if you look at, we have an indentation right here. Now, what do we mean by the HTML element? Okay, why do we have this HTML element? So I'm just going to be explaining this as simple as possible so that you can, understand what is attainable at every point that you get to. So at this point, the HTML element that we have here is the root element. Okay, so what we mean by is the root element. So it's the element that wraps up all the content on the entire page. Is the element, it wraps up all the content on the entire page. Okay, so also known as the root element. Okay, now the next thing we have here, let's create an head element. Okay, so we create an head element. Now this is the head element is quite different from the rest. Now, why do we have the head element? The head element contains the information about the document. It contains information that we need for this document, information that we need for the documents that we have here. Okay, number one information that we are going to need is a meta tag. Okay, a meta. Okay, so inside this meta we have what we call a character set. All right, now we have a character set. We have the UTF UTF-8. Okay, I know you might be confused. So what is this UTF-8? It's very simple. Now the UTF-8 is a type of Unicode encoding. All right, it's a type of Unicode encoding using in all websites. Okay, so what do we mean by that? It translates the letter, the number, symbols into bytes used by computers. It translates your symbols, your letters, translate them into bytes used by computers. Okay, so whenever you come into any symbols, you are writing any symbols here, immediately it translates it whenever it's been displayed on a browser. Okay, so that's the meta tag. Now the next information that we're going to be working on is the title. Now every document has a title. So let's say my first web page. Okay, every document has a title. Every document has a title. Now we have this as my first web page. Okay, now the next thing we are going to have here, I'm still going to show you where this is displayed on the web browser. Just let's follow along little by little. So we have the body tag, we have the body element, the body element. Now what really is this body element doing? Now the body element contains the visual aspect of the web page. Okay, everything that you see on the web page is being compiled in the body element. Okay, so it contains the visual aspect of the web page. Okay, so we have quite some content, quite some element that we're going to be writing in there, but I think I omitted something. In this head tag, we have sometimes you might want to include some external files. You might want to include some you have a CSS file you want to include in this particular HTML document. So every of those external files that you will be bringing in, they will be all passed into the head element. Okay, so I think I've done justice to that. So the next thing we are going to work on, let's try putting some elements here. So paragraph, let's just create a paragraph tag. So I'll just say this is a paragraph tag. Okay, and let's move on, and we have H1. Now the H1 stands for the heading. It's an heading element. Okay, it's an heading element. So we have, let's quickly do something here. The heading and then 1. Okay, all right, so this heading, we have it 6. We have 6 types of heading. So what we are going to do here, we're going to copy and paste that to, so changes to 2, then changes to 3, changes to 3, yeah, changes to 4, changes to 4, changes to 5, changes to 5, then the last one is 6. And let's not forget this. So let's say this is 2. Okay, so let's say we have 3. All right, so we have 4. Okay, then we have 5. All right, so the last one we have 6. Okay, so let's check this out. Let's check this out. So go same way, come down there, and we'll open it here. All right, so we have the heading, so we have the paragraph here. Okay, we have the header 1, we have the header 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically we don't really use much of this. The three most important ones we use are this. Okay, so this is just the header. You want to put something in a very in a headers, you want to put a header somewhere, we use this. So this will stand as a subheader. Okay, and the third one, you can use that on any other position that you have to. So let me increase this. Now if you come down here, you're going to see my first web page. Let's go back to our text editor. My first web page is the title. Is the title of this particular document. So we see that displayed on the browser right at the top of this particular section. We have my first web page. Okay, so I think that will be all for this section. We've talked about the structure. We see we have the structure in here. Every content that we have displayed here is the contents, is the elements that we have inside the body tag, which is very important. And we see that with none of our tags are displayed on the browser. Okay, it's very important for you to know that. All right, thank you very much, and